And I would like to call on Janie Neely. Janie Neely, Ms. Neely is the parent of 2 children who attend public schools. Her youngest child is with special needs. Her son Tucker is a rising 10th grade student and is seated with her. Janie is a former public school classroom teacher and now writes English language arts content. Please, ma'am, Ms. Neely.
Vice President Pence, Secretary DeVos, Government Master, thank you for this opportunity and for hosting this important discussion on school opening. I am the parent of 3 children that have very diverse learning needs, and school closings have greatly impacted each of them. However, my focus today is on my youngest son, Marsh, who is 4 years old and diagnosed with Down syndrome. Out of my 3 children, his life has changed most dramatically. In March, our schools closed abruptly without the infrastructure or a plan to transition to distance learning. While this was difficult for everyone, it was especially hard on students like my son. My son's 4. For primary age students, school develops skills in regulating behavior, emotions, attention, and the structure and routine of a school day that builds these foundational skills just cannot be replicated in a distance learning platform. For my son, e-learning cannot provide him the peer-to-peer interactions and the language models that he so desperately needs to develop and to build his speech skills. When school closed, my son lost a lot of his learning supports. Suddenly, he was without his friends, his teacher, and much-needed therapist. It was like falling off an early intervention cliff. Before school closings, I was already fighting an uphill battle to have my son fully included with his peers. Now, I'm really not sure how I'll ever bridge the gap. As much as my husband and I work with Marsh at home, nothing compares to face-to-face learning in a school environment with a teacher and his peers. Please understand, I'm not dismissing the seriousness of this virus. However, the cost of remaining in isolation will have long-term consequences for students like my son. Children need early intervention to develop and maintain their skills. School is essential. As adults, it's our responsibility to find safe ways to resume an interactive learning environment for these children. This is a golden opportunity for us to revisit school practices, look closely at students' diverse needs, and find creative solutions. Choice must be at the center of this conversation. There isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, but honestly, in education, that should never be our goal. Each family has to make a decision in the best interest of their child's academic, social, mental, and physical health. School districts must offer choices. There cannot be a take-it-or-leave-it approach to reopening schools in the fall. This also doesn't have to be a binary choice of 2 undesirable options. One thing that I've learned as a parent of a child with a disability is if you only focus on the barriers, you will only see mountains. We must change our view. Let's look for potential and possibilities in our new learning circumstances. Modeling for students how we overcome adversity is the best lesson we can teach at this moment in time. Showing how we can bridge our differences to help one another is life-changing. I truly believe that we are at a fork in the road of education. Our well-worn path is out of service. So together, we need to forge a new road for our students. They're depending on us to problem solve and innovate for their future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Janie. Well, just 1 minute, Katie. You can. Janie, thank you for those very eloquent words. I hope you will give Marsh a hug for us.
He's not great at social distancing.
That's right. I'll bet he's not. And Tucker, thanks for coming here. I know how proud you are of your mom today and your family. I hope
I really hope some of the members of the media here heard you loud and clear, because I think that putting daylight on special needs children and the vital role that schools play in families like yours is a great service. I just want to thank you again for those beautiful words, and frankly, the example of your family and your own career. Let me also say the insights that we just received. Dr. Caslin, thank you for such a well-structured, well-ordered, safety-first approach that takes in the needs of the community as a whole, and puts in high relief the need to be building confidence and participation. I love the I Pledge Columbia program, and we'll be carrying that back as a best practice. CDC will be issuing, the task force is reviewing tomorrow, some additional resources for parents and for schools, and we'll be bringing back a lot of your framework into that conversation. I also want to thank Superintendent Wilson for your very moving comments about students that are struggling readers and the long-term consequences of those children missing that point in development for them personally, for their families, for their future. It was just very, very powerful, and it's something that I'm going to carry back. All these comments are very, very insightful and eloquent, Governor, but we'll be carrying back. I know, being married to an elementary school teacher, there are moments in development where if they pass, that it's very, very hard for children to be able to go back and reset. And so I want to thank you for focusing on that particular aspect, but also I want to commend you on Restart A5 and the fact that the next day the governor announced the same date and much of the same framework is a great tribute to his leadership and to yours. And thank you for leaning in. And lastly, Dr. Ross, thank you for your very eloquent words. I was very moved when you said every child deserves a teacher, a classroom, and I think every American family believes that. Every American believes that, and your focus. It's interesting to me that you, Dr. Caslin, began with saying building confidence, and then you said that in your school system, to take every 2 weeks and to look at the progress that you're making to build that confidence, I think is extremely insightful, and no real surprise that you received the national recognition that you received. This is an all-star group, Governor, and I just like to. I want to thank all the parents and family members and other educators who are here with us today. This has been enormously helpful, and I hope you join me in thanking all of those who spoke and all of those that have participated here. This has been very, very valuable. We'll carry this back, and we're going to be with you every step of the way as you put these very, very sound plans to reopen schools and to get those kids into that much-deserved classroom in front of those teachers one more time again. Join me in thanking all these folks.